Hello, thank you for joining us on Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguele. Nigerians continue to make remarkable strides anywhere in the world, and the federal government remains resolute in addressing migration challenges while protecting the rights of migrants. The Vice President of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima, stated this during the 2024 National Migration Dialogue with the theme, Beyond Borders, celebrating migrants' legacy, protecting their rights, which recognizes the resilience of migrants. Migration is a complex and multifaceted phenomenon, and Nigeria is a country of origin, destination, and transit. In ensuring the protection of the rights of migrants, the 2024 National Migration Dialogue, organized by the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, offers a platform for stakeholders to advocate and enhance migration governance in Nigeria, analyze key challenges of irregular migration, promote policies and practices that safeguard the rights and well-being of migrants. Vice President Kashim Shettima, while addressing stakeholders, acknowledges the contributions of migrants to economic growth and regional integration.
Migration is not just a crossover from one geography to another. It is a critical driver of global and national development. In 2022 alone, Nigerians in diaspora accounted for $21.9 billion in remittances, representing 64% of all remittances in West Africa. Our migrants have become global ambassadors, excelling in fields such as technology, medicine, sports, and the creative arts, underscoring the transformative potential of our people across the world. I urge us all to focus on practical solutions that celebrate the legacies of migrants while advancing their rights.
It is a clarion call to action, urging us not only to protect migrants' rights, but also to celebrate their invaluable contribution to both origin and host countries.
As Nigeria assumes the chairmanship of the Euro-African Dialogue on Migration and Development, the REPAD process in 2025, we are uniquely positioned to highlight the invaluable contribution of African migrants to global development.
We have supported the development and implementation of Nigeria's national migration policy, and since then, the federal government of Nigeria has made commendable progress in its implementation.
Nigeria knows very well this, having incredible, resilient, but also incredible, smart diaspora living all around the world.
These jobs are needed. How do we make it possible for them to go legally and then join us in contributing to the development of the economy?
As the dialogue continues with the theme, Beyond Borders, celebrating migrants' legacy, protecting their rights, stakeholders commit to foster collaborations and leverage youth migration for national development, while promoting an inclusive society and enhance pathways for safe and orderly migration for all. In other news, pragmatic leadership in the military is the bedrock of national cohesion through uniting diverse forces with purpose and precision, as well as prioritizing practical solutions, clear communication, and adaptability in the face of challenges. This was the focus at the inauguration of Leadership and National Cohesion Training Program for military personnel in Abuja.
In a world where both economic instability and security threats loom large, the importance of leadership that fosters unity cannot be overstated.
This course, being the second one, will build the capacity of these officers thoroughly to fill in this gap to foster national development and cohesion in Nigeria.
Talking about the challenges bedeviling the nation as a whole, I believe leadership is key. And if you really want to get it right, there's need to train prospective leaders.
This training program provided a platform for top brass of the military and key players in the security sector to learn, collaborate, and become the change makers who would steer Nigeria towards a future of greater national cohesion, peace, and prosperity.
Into leadership challenges and strategies for building a more unified and resilient national framework is truly commendable.
It also aims to promote national cohesion in our collective aspiration for sustainable democracy and development in West Africa.
The training, part of the Leadership and National Cohesion Course 2 2024, was organized by the Martin Luther Aguirre International Leadership and Peacekeeping Center in collaboration with the Japanese government and the United Nations Development Program. Olajide Bedlo, NTA News.
Civil-military relations is an aspect of the armed forces' non-kinetic approach to tackle insurgency. In view of this, the Nigerian Navy Headquarters Logistics Command, Ogara, Delta State, carried out a one-day medical campaign in Osubi community, Okbe, local government area of Delta State. This is with a view to help strengthen the existing relationship between the Nigerian Navy and its host community.
This exercise is envisioned to strengthen civil-military relations between Nigerian Navy and the Osubi community. This outreach will go a long way in contributing to the efforts of the government. It is expected that the exercise will be sustained.
They gave us eyeglass is free. I do my Chiga test and everything that they did is free. I want to thank God for bringing them to this place.
They did the medical checkup. Then after that, I went to the consultant and they gave me drugs. I want to thank them for the good job. They should continue on it for the good health of the people.
All right, time to join Lagos. Let's hook up with Hingino for our next set of reports.
Ruth, and welcome to Lagos. An initiative by federal government aimed at encouraging joint patrol operations with the goal of tackling security challenges affecting important sectors that contribute to the nation's socio-economic growth is yielding positive results. The success recorded so far by Joint Border Patrol Team Sector 2 in charge of Southwest Geopolitical Zone has been presented to the public in Lagos. Lanre Bele has details.
Joint operations have always proven to be effective in addressing security challenges. This informed the formation of a joint border patrol team that consists of the Nigerian Armed Forces, the Customs Service, Immigration Service, Department of State Service, and the National Intelligence Agency, initiated to tackle the proliferation of small and light weapons, illicit drugs, prohibited goods, and other cross-border crimes. The Joint Border Patrol, spearheaded by the Customs Service, Sector 2, that covers the Southwest Geopolitical Zone, is now giving account of its stewardship at the nation's border corridors from 2019 to date.
The sector's efforts also boosted the federal government's revenue through auction sales and an aggregate of 1,140,162,562 naira was paid into the Federation account from the sales of seized petroleum products.
Prominent among seizures recorded are 130,954 bags of foreign parboiled rice, 7,200 kilograms of pangolin scales, 5,575 liters of premium motor spirit, 11,322 cartons of frozen foreign products, 4,124 bales of used cloth, 15 pump-action rifles, 280 suspected cases of human trafficking, 480 units of motor vehicles, and 1,190 means of conveyance. The Section 2 of the Joint Border Patrol Team noted that the successes recorded is due to the professional, patriotic, and persevering officers who have teamed up to develop innovative problem-solving means of overcoming challenges which warrant recognition. In Lagos, Larry Bileyi, NTA News.
And experts in the nation's capital market are urging the federal government to move their public assets with a fixed income into the capital market for it to become sellable securities to have cash flow, which will in turn trigger economic development. Lanre Gbeleyi, again, who interacted with them, brings us details.
One of the ways the government could make its public establishments function optimally to achieve the nation's socio-economic goals is through securitization of government assets, which is a financial practice of pulling various types of assets into packaged interest-bearing securities. The capital market made an example of government assets such as nation's power transmitting agency, the railway, the petroleum sector, can all be packaged on the capital market with a certain percentage allowed to be an interest-bearing entity.
We're saying that the federal government has a lot of assets. How do we use those assets to be able to get money in order to do more things? Because if you are able to make more money, you are able to do more things.
Financial experts speak further on securitizing public operation of the federal government.
The big question is, what's the holdup? Why is it taking so long? I suppose we can look at this in two ways. The good news is there is the intent that has been publicly declared, even documented, as was mentioned in the PIA, for example, in the case of NNPC. So we do know that the government has come to the realization that this is necessary.
Maybe two things or three that can actually change the course of our economy. If you liberalize transportation, especially rail transportation, list the NNPC, just those two. If we don't provide those opportunities, the capital will not flow towards there.
Financial experts highlight the gains inherent in these moves, which include government corporation having access to an income stream that is less capital intensive, increased liquidity for banks, and reduction of debt service costs, which will go a long way in boosting the nation's economic growth. In Lagos, Lanre Gbeleyi, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. Nationwide will continue in Port Harcourt after the break.
The rich, consistent taste your loved ones crave for. Good for soups, stews, and jollof. Terra Gold. 1 cube, endless possibilities.
To Port Harcourt. Governor Silalai Fubara of Rivers State has reiterated his administration's commitment to improve the quality of education by giving a facelift to institution of learning in Rivers State. He was speaking at the inauguration of the remodeled Government Girls Secondary School, Abuja, in Abuja East Local Government Area. Government House correspondent Osinochi Samuel reports.
Government Girls Secondary School, Ahuda, was one of the best and recognized girls' schools in Rivers State and the only girls' school in Ebeye Kingdom, but sadly the school has suffered years of neglect, leaving the school in a dilapidated state. Governor Fubara's intervention in the reconstruction of the facility has in no small way restored the hope of the Ebeye Kingdom towards excellent education for their children. While appreciating the support and resilience of the people of Ahuda East, he urged the communities to guard the project, assuring that he will not disappoint them.
Everybody can attest that we are strategic. It's not just doing, but doing what is right. We have promised that our tactics will be following this process with patience and the fear of God, and we'll get there. So Ezekiel and other traditional rulers here who have suffered in the course of supporting us, your request for recognition of others too will be granted.
Amen. The school is made up of 24 classroom blocks, a science laboratory, principal and teachers' quarters, among other state-of-the-art facilities.
May I, on behalf of the people of Ahuda East, notify you that we have overwhelmingly resolved and endorsed you.
The governor was honored with a chieftaincy title, Ezeyowe Ugo of Ebeye land, the ego that brings happiness to the kingdom. From Ahoda East, Osinachi Samuel, NTA News. One of the global initiatives that consistently puts a spotlight on the issue of gender-based violence is the 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence, which annually runs through November 25 to December 10. This period serves as a crucial platform to raise awareness, mobilize action, and demand an end to all forms of violence against women and girls. Chidiberoya tells us more.
In the Nigerian society, where male chauvinism is the order of the day, it is commonplace to find rampant cases of gender-based violence. Fortunately, the Nigerian authority has taken some commendable steps to come to the rescue of women with the enactment of laws that prohibit violence against them. Sadly, the existence of these laws has not brought succor for victims of gender-based violence due to their poor implementation. The 16 Days of Activism is a campaign supported by the United Nations that calls for action to end violence against women and girls.
Violence is any act that affects a woman or girl psychologically, physically, emotionally, mentally, and financially also, and also threats to a woman or a girl. And it's pervasive. All around the world, many countries are making efforts to end violence against women and girls, and Nigeria is not an exception.
If you are in an abusive relationship, you are being the violence every time, they are beating you blue black. Don't stay there. Don't say because of my children. You will die, these children will live and live beautifully without you there.
Observers say violence against women is a violation of their human rights, and it cannot be justified by any political, religious, or cultural claim, as it has led to the deformity and, in extreme cases, deaths of many women across the globe.
When we say violence, violence is violence, so it could leave some physical marks on them. Apart from the diseases, the infections they get to get.
To nip this ugly trend in the bud, the consensus is that it requires rapid interventions, support for survivors, intensified public sensitization, and stronger legal action against perpetrators. In Port Harcourt, Chidiebere Onya, NTA News.
And that does it from Port Harcourt. It's back to Abuja for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Good evening to you too, Dibabari. Executive Vice President Downstream NNPC Limited, Ishaku Abdullahi, has again reaffirmed to NLC President, TUC President, who also doubles as Pengasan, Nupeng President of Port Harcourt, that the Port Harcourt refinery has been producing refined products, including diesel and kerosene, operating at approximately 70% capacity since 26 November when it was restrained. Ishaku Abdullahi added that as critical representative of the people, it is essential to take the Nigeria Labour Congress to site to see firsthand how the plant is up and running and trucking out of products on a daily basis. He said Pengasan and Nupeng have been part of the entire process. Joe Ajaro, NLC President, applauded the efforts.
Now, it is going to work tomorrow and next tomorrow. Still part of the process. Because we can understand that as a part of the engineering process, it is not magic and not miracle as we say in the lights. Take that process for us to get to where we are. That is, and we come here as doubting Thomases. We came here to see the realization of that process, which we insisted after.
The end of the year raises feelings of joy on some people and trepidation for some others. There are sometimes feelings of inadequacy for those who believe they have not achieved what they set their mind to do at the beginning of the year. On the other hand, more traffic accidents is usually recorded during this period. Let's get details from Ijoma Ugweke.
2024 is not different from past ones when activities speed up as people strive to round off the year on a positive note. However, many harbor nagging thoughts on what could have been and possibilities for the next year. Increase in crime rate is one consequence of this desire to meet up.
During December period, people believe it's the time they will make up their money.
I'm against the whole crime sort because people are actually out there trying, and you can as well try to, instead of going to rob and steal from other people too.
People are killing, people are committing all manner of atrocities. People involve their life in a short time in order to succeed.
We just need to be very, very careful.
Higher rates of accidents are also recorded in this period due to higher volume of traffic and human errors such as recklessness, driving under the influence, and state of the vehicles.
Our roads typically experience heavy traffic, congestion, road crashes, regrettably, the loss of our properties. This situation is worsened by reckless behaviors of some of our motorists.
If you observe that the driver is intoxicated, please don't enter that vehicle. Don't enter and speak out. If it's a company that has fleet, go to the safety manager. Okay, this is what I've observed.
As the year winds down, stakeholders advise that people adopt measures to cope with the pressures in order to end the year positively. In Port Harcourt, Ijomu Weke, NTA News.
Of course, you know the concerns cuts across the country, but we would like to stay with Port Harcourt. So let's join Gabriel, who is standing by there in Port Harcourt, which is at one of the very busy locations. Gabriel, please tell us, what is the mood there in Port Harcourt, especially in the aspect of road safety and security?
Oh, thank you for having me. There's a mix, there's a mix of excitement and caution. That's the general mood in Port Harcourt, is of a mix of excitement and caution here. And there's also concern for road safety and security challenges, maybe due to the activities going on here.
Okay, Gabriel, I don't know if from your findings going around the city, did you see security presence, around the city?
From our investigations, I think the law enforcement agencies have beefed up their patrol team, especially at night and at some strategic points like the marketplaces and shopping malls and other places for now.
Okay, Gabriel, I want to believe that the city of Port Harcourt is bustling with a lot of activities, but of course people should be cautious of their movement. Thank you so much, Gabriel. Right, moving on to other issues. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has commended Dr. Bolu Ogunyemi on his emergence as president-elect of the Canadian Medical Association. Dr. Ogunyemi, a Nigerian-born clinical associate professor, was elected to lead the CMA. Dr. Ogunyemi's achievement is a milestone for Nigeria and the global black community. As the first black person to lead the CMA in 158 years, he has broken a significant barrier and paved the way for others to follow in his footsteps. His election is a demonstration of his expertise, passion, and commitment to advancing healthcare services. President Tinubu assured Dr. Ogunyemi of Nigeria's support as he takes on his new role. He encouraged him to remain focused. The Ministry of Solid Minerals Development has affirmed that the reappointment of Fatima Shinkafi as the Solid Minerals Development Fund Executive Secretary by President Bola Tinubu is in accordance with the provisions guiding the establishment of the agency. Reacting to the controversy in certain quarters over the reappointment approved by the President, the ministry asserted that no part of the Solid Minerals Development Fund Act specifies a term limit for chief executive officers of the agency. A statement by Head of Press, Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, Eguka Chinwe, assures mining stakeholders that the ministry will continue to support the agency to expand access to lines of credit lead the charge to strengthen partnerships that will unlock financing to drive economic growth towards making solid minerals a significant contributor to the nation's gross domestic product. In other news, the federal government says the days of lamentations over what it's perceived as inadequate policies and programs to guide development of the livestock industry are over. Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Mokhtar Maiha, stated this at a two-day strategic consultative session with stakeholders on sustainable livestock development in Abuja. Yusuf Jiga reports.
These are stakeholders drawn from various components of livestock industry from across the country to chart a way forward that will guarantee sustainable growth and development of the livestock industry. The session also seeks to harmonize key policies, strategies, research insights and reports to shape a comprehensive roadmap for transforming Nigeria's livestock industry. The Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Mokhtar Maiha, acknowledges the resolve to further engage key players in the upstream, midstream and downstream of livestock chains in the implementation of the ministry's activities.
We desire precise, pinpoint recommendations that can provide favorable outcomes when implemented. We have selected key themes such as animal health and breeding, livestock entrepreneurship value chains, feed and fodder, grazing reserve development, conflict resolution, and cross-cutting issues of discourse during the meeting.
Participants lauded the foresight of the ministry in championing the course of the meeting, describing it as a round peg in the round hall.
I see a form of harmonization of all opinions for the purpose of growing the livestock industry.
See how can we achieve success in this sector.
The engagement is also to further reaffirm federal government's pragmatic resolve to transform the livestock industry into a formal sector of the economy. In Abuja, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
Unlike previous experience, the Gashua-Funtua Federal Highway is now writing a new story we have, one of which is improved security and renewed hope. Our correspondent Haliru Mohammed reports that this new era of safety and security on the road has brought relief to travelers and, of course, residents.
Funtua Road, which is a major highway connecting Zamfara State to other parts of the country, was previously notorious for kidnappings, armed robberies, and other violent crimes. The road is, however, currently witnessing significant improvement in security, bringing relief to travelers and residents.
In October 7th to 20th October, where we have a kind of daily attacks by those armed bandits and so on. And honestly, in fact, I'm a victim in the sense that I could not really travel through that road. But with the partnership we have seen so far with the executive governor of Zamfara State, we have that thinking that a positive action has been reached out.
I feel more confident to fly the road. I feel happier than before. As an indigenous of Safe, I can show that people now can pass through Gusau to Funtua with confidence.
The improvement in security on the road is among other factors attributed to the increased presence of security personnel and recent measures taken by the authorities. The improvement in security on the Gusau-Funtua Road is expected to boost socio-economic activities in the northwest region and reduce the risk of attacks on commuters and residents. In Gusau, Haliru Muhammad, NTA News.
And still staying in Gusau, we hear Haliru is about to join us. Haliru, tell us the situation there based on the report we've just seen. Okay, we seem to be having signal problem there. We turn to other issues. The Nigerian Basketball Association of Nigeria says it remains committed to ensure that Nigeria stands as the dominant force in the game of basketball by producing talented players and coaches that would make the country and Africa proud. NBA Nigeria country head Bemisola Abudu stated this during NBA clinic for 100 boys and girls and a capacity building for 50 coaches in Kano. Habibu Hussaini reports.
There are more than 150 players of African origin in NBA.
and about 50% of them are from Nigeria. This global status the country is currently holding informs the decision of NBA Nigeria to design programs to train and identify grassroots talents that will continue to place the country at the top of the radar of the game.
We want to ensure that all the coaches here are learning how to coach the NBA way, so that every child they come in contact with and they coach here in Kano, it helps them, training them and coaching the kids the fundamental skills of basketball. And for us, why is that very important? Because going back to what we said, that our footprint is to ensure that we increase the footprint of the NBA in Nigeria, but also ensuring that we're helping to contribute to the development of the ecosystem, and the coaches play a significant role in that. And for the talent, I mean, we all know this, there's so much incredible talent in Nigeria.
This will develop their interest to push them and try to play more. Mostly when they see they had that, some of them will go to NBA, some will go to NBA Academy in Senegal and so on. So they are so elated to be part of the program.
I want to be a greatest basketball. I want to play in the WNBA. I want to see myself traveling out of this country.
I appreciate. I like how they do here. We have some fun. We do some exercise. We benefit good. Really good. I really thank them a lot. Right.
The Junior NBA Nigeria Clinic is part of the NBA Africa mission to develop and harness the hidden basketball potentials in the continent. In Kano, Habib Hussein, NTA News.
All right, let's find out what's happening in Kaduna. We're joining Salamatu to bring us our next set of reports.
Ruth, and thanks for joining us here. Public administrators must rethink and deepen their gatekeeping responsibility for effective transformation as game changers committed to a renewed hope governance. Chairman of the Federal Civil Service Commission, Professor Tunji Olaupa, stated this at the 43rd Annual National Council of Civil Service Commission in the Federation holding in Katsina. Suleiman Kodogi reports.
The conference with the team, the role of the civil service commissions in driving the renewed up agenda of the government aimed at reassuring and re-engineering public administrators that will brace up for future challenges of civil service.
We need to prepare the ground for the upcoming generation to take over. And if we have to get it right, then we have to purge the system of those inadequacies.
The role is for us to assist the government in the new hope agenda of the government.
In trying to renew the hope, then you have to introduce certain mechanisms that will make the system more comfortable.
The conference happened. Katsina State Governor Diko Umar represented, lauded the foresight and determination of the organizers to change the narrative in the country's civil service commissions. Chairman, Federal Civil Service Commission, Professor Tunji Olaupa, called for professionalized civil service in Nigeria to promote capability-ready, performance-oriented, and value-driven institutions.
I'm aware of the contributions in executing government programs and policies, as a result of which I came up with the idea of the new policies that were designed to rejuvenate the civil service in the state.
We want to begin to institute a new value system that will make sure that the public service cherished values, which entails discipline, loyalty, professionalism, and excellence.
The 4-day conference is expected to feature paper presentations by relevant stakeholders with declaration all geared towards repositioning Nigerian civil service commissions. Suleiman Kodogi, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army will continue to give priority to leadership development and emotional intelligence training for its senior non-commissioned officers and warrant officers, aimed at strengthening their ability to support commanders in managing personnel effectively during both peace and wartime operations. The commandant of the Warrant Officers Academy, Brigadier General Awalu Mahmouda, highlighted this during the graduation ceremony of Course 44 at the Academy in Jaji. Haruna Mohammed tells us more.
Exercise
This marked a significant milestone for the Warrant Officers Academy Course 44, with 78 participants graduating after completing an intensive 22 weeks training program. These include 75 officers from the Nigerian Army, 2 from the Nigerian Air Force, and 2 international participants from Liberia and Gambia. As custodians of culture, norms, and traditions, the program is aimed at addressing leadership gaps between commissioned officers and enlisted personnel, highlighting the critical role of warrant officers and senior non-commissioned officers in enhancing operational efficiency and personnel management.
During your course, you were all groomed on critical thinking, mental appreciation, and emotional intelligence to enable you assist in advising your immediate commanders with regard to man management both in peace and war time.
The Chief of Army Staff, presented by the Commandant of the Nigerian Army School of Infantry, praised the graduates for their dedication and perseverance. He noted that the inclusion of officers from the Air Force and allied nations emphasized the importance of inter-service collaboration and strengthens diplomatic relations.
I am confident that the skills you have acquired during the course have adequately equipped you to bridge the knowledge and leadership gaps between the officers and junior non-commissioned officers as you return to your various units, formations, service, and countries.
The Nigerian Army reiterates its commitment to joint training and cooperation, expressing how partnership with sister services and allied countries are essential for tackling today's complex security challenges. Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
And Haruna Muhammad's report completes our package from here. You're still watching Nationwide News. We'll continue shortly after this time out. Please stay.
All right, we're back here. We're supposed to head to Maiduguri, but we'll pick up. Concerned by alleged reports of sharp practices in the Nigerian Universities Conference, Alumni Association of Nigerian Universities have pledged to complement government's efforts at safeguarding and protecting the images of the system by monitoring how some institutions sell certificates while the qualities of others are being eroded. The president of the association, Professor Yakubu Ochefu, stated this at the meeting of the group to appraise its efforts of giving back to alma mater. As former Secretary General Committee of Vice Chancellors of Nigeria, Professor Ochefu believes it behoves on them to assist in checkmating on ethical happenings in the university system. He implored them to be united so as to be able to address universities' challenges.
If we come out with one body, with one voice, our voice will be heard. We have a lot to ask from the federal government as far as development of the university is concerned.
The issue of governing councils in Nigerian universities, especially state-owned universities, these are councils that should bring in representative alumni. Most of universities don't have that.
Group said the Common Ground Fund would translate into universities' quality of education. The association have members in over 100 universities spread across the country. All right, let's get to Maiduguri. Let's connect with Abubakar.
It's nice to see you, Ruth. Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum has been awarded as the 2024 Governor of the Year nationwide by Nigerian News Direct newspaper. The prestigious award was presented during the 14th Nigerian News Direct lecture and award ceremony held in Lagos. Mohammed Goni completes the story.
The event, with the theme Achieving Economic Prosperity, the Role of Human Capacity Development, Fiscal Prudence, and Revenue Generation, attracted an array of prominent personalities, business leaders, heads of federal government agencies, and financial institutions. Receiving the award on behalf of Governor Zulum, the Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Professor Usman Tar, expressed gratitude to Nigerian News Direct for the recognition.
His Excellency Professor Zulum wishes to assure Nigerian News Direct and indeed all Nigerians that he will continue to do his utmost best to improve the developmental conditions in Borno State.
He assured that the award will motivate the governor to intensify effort to address the lingering challenges of insecurity and work toward restoring lasting peace in Borno State. Tarfada emphasized Governor Zulum's unwavering commitment to developmental issues aimed at propelling Borno State towards progress and prosperity. He also reiterated that Governor Zulum remains a strong advocate for Nigeria's development and will continue to play a pivotal role in nation building. The event recognized other notable recipients, including Governor Dafo Abiodun of Ogun State, that of Jigawa State, Umar Namadi, as well as the Minister of Power and Marine and Blue Economy, renowned businessman Alhaji Aliko Dangote, among others. The Commissioner of Information was accompanied by the Special Advisor to the Governor on Media, Dauda Ilya, and Senior Special Assistant Media Baba Sheikh Haruna. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
Away from that now to tell you that in the aftermath of the devastating floods that ravaged Borno State, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake, the state government has taken a significant step towards restoring normalcy in the education sector. A whopping 1.6 billion naira has been approved for the rehabilitation of 33 educational facilities severely affected by the floods. Here is Pauline Kujivana with the rest of the story.
While announcing the receipt of the 1.6 billion naira fund from the state government, Commissioner for Education Lawan Abawa Kilbe expressed gratitude to Governor Zulum for his unwavering commitment to education. He also commended school administrators for their resilience during the flood crisis, emphasizing that the rehabilitation will be implemented through School-Based Management Committee (CBMC), known for its efficiency in handling past projects. According to him, the funds will be directly transferred to the school's account to ensure smooth execution of the school improvement plan. In addition to schools, the State Library Board and the Scholarship Board will also benefit from the rehabilitation effort, having suffered from the flood disaster as well. The Commissioner said to ensure transparency and accountability, a monetary team will oversee the project implementation, with an auditor and a financial consultant to be engaged to supervise the proper utilization of funds. Aja State Coordinator Ibrahim Baba praised Governor Zulum's steadfast dedication to the education sector, urging schools without operational bank account to establish them promptly to facilitate the process and encourage principals to collaborate closely with the technical team in their areas. Key stakeholders including CBMC Chairman Abba Bukar, ANCOPS Chairman Abba Ali Ladan, Education Secretaries Forum Representative Dr. Mala Kuluma, and the component lead Abdurrahman Usman Kaka applauded Governor Zulum's visionary leadership and pledged their full support for the initiative. This project marks a significant step towards restoring normalcy in Borno's education sector, ensuring that students across the state can resume learning in safe and conducive environments. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujivana, NTA News.
It's now time to return to Ruth in Abuja for other latest happenings over there. So, Ruth.
Thank you, Abubakar. Sometimes the boldest leap is not in avoiding the hurdles, but in jumping through them, knowing that every struggle faced is a step closer to the light waiting at the end of the tunnel. Well, this best x-rays the book Bold Leap, authored by Senator Chris Nwanyao, to the public to change Nigerians' perception to positivity and success in their endeavors. Olajide Bello reports.
The 600-page book, The Bold Leap, the third of a masterpiece, encapsulates the rise of Christiana Chris Nwanyao, a story of audacity, resilience, and transformative change. Christiana's journey began in the modest confines of the Nigerian Television Authority, where her voice, calm yet powerful, cut through the noise of a divided society. As a broadcaster, she was known for her courage in addressing social injustices, shining light on issues often ignored. But it was her ability to connect with her audience through the airwaves and later through the written word that set her apart. With her pedigree in broadcasting and recognition in politics, it was a day of presidential remarks from respective representatives.
I strongly believe it will source courage and also serve as a compass to the young generation.
Olusegun Adeniyi, who is the editor of these day newspapers, reviewed the book.
I will take readers through the story of our transition to politics, driven by a desire to create change from within the system.
through her book, through her lessons, she teaches us that we still need to remain one Nigeria.
A great reference point for many people of the successor generations.
She, like I rightly pointed out, on all the beats she covered, she stood out as one of the best in the world.
But the most important thing is that our traditions or some of our cultural norms should start the looking way.
So books like this are good for our history, so that they fill in those blank spaces.
Actually, she's a role model for women and young girls.
For Senator Christiana Chris Nwanyawu, what inspired her work?
Things I saw growing up, how I grew, how the things that happened in history affected me and my family personally, and how we survived despite that. It should be an inspiring story.
A broadcaster, a mentor, an editor, a politician, and above all, a mother. Christiana Chris Nwanyawu's journey to prominence was not one paved with ease, but rather with grit, determination, and an unwavering belief in her purpose. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
As the 5-year moratorium period for the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Prohibition Act 2018 ends, stakeholders are urging a review of the implementation process and renewed efforts to advance accessibility. The Association of Accessibility Professionals, Nigeria Advance, is at the forefront of this initiative. The association hosted an international conference for disability stakeholders to discuss and advance accessibility in Nigeria.
In Nigeria, we are building an accessibility industry where people are able, professionals are able to utilize themselves in various sectors, bringing about accessible products, accessible services, and accessible infrastructure for all, especially for persons with disabilities.
The association also emphasized the need for collective actions to promote accessibility and inclusion in the country. And that concludes Nationwide. Thank you for your time. I'm Ruth Aguilera. Bye.